I was 7 years old, sitting on the linoleum floor of my grandmother's house in Santa Clara, Cuba, when my mother said 5 words that would change my life forever. Nos vamos para America. We are moving to America. Even at 7, I knew the American dream. I carried with me a suitcase filled with opportunities, hoping for a life without struggle. What I found, and what my generation has largely found, is a gap between our country's political imaginations and a harsh reality. I want to contextualize my interactions with the US social world as an immigrant, and my growing consciousness of this disconnect in our country's promise with my ADHD. When we imagine ADHD, the image conjured up is almost always of a young boy extremely active. That social imagination of those with this disability is drawn across gender and color lines, an imagination that restricts who has access to diagnoses, to treatment, and to a fulfilling life. Our collective social imagination of what ADHD is does something else as well. It erases the experiences of adults with ADHD by associating ADHD with youth and with immaturity. ADHD is first and foremost an executive functioning disability. Executive dysfunction for me and countless others means trouble starting a nuanced homework assignment, but extreme thoroughness when doing so. It means distractibility, but also hyperfixations on my favorite new philosopher of the week. It means a lack of attention to detail sometimes, but when I am truly interested, perfectionism. Just talk to my organic chemistry professor. And that takes me to this. The institutions that comprise our country, from the largest corporations to our federal government, have a very specific and very rigid definition of productivity. Productivity that leads to economic security and fulfillment for some. ADHD folk, those with executive dysfunction, do not fit that mold. A recent study determined that subjects with ADHD saw significantly lower household incomes and fewer were employed full-time. I wrote this speech in the name of the social model of disability, and my conclusion is going to be very reminiscent of that. The goal must always be to reform and to reinvent our institutions to be more inclusive, and to offer robust accommodations and make medical interventions accessible. We do that by empowering those with the lived experiences, folks with disability. I thank Lime Connect for doing that this summer with their corporate fellowship, and I thank them now for giving me the platform to share my story. I am not me without my ADHD. I am not a successful Columbia University student or professional without my ADHD, and I am not a disability justice advocate without my ADHD. Thank you.